good evening. Welcome to the Tunnel Podcast. We are back so soon, you say. If you joined me earlier on, I was interviewing Adam Summerton. If you haven't seen it yet, it is on Catch Up. Get at it. It's very, very good. Have a day so myself. Delighted to say we are here again to talk all things England with my star-studded England cast, Tom Goffe. Tom, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm all right. Thanks, mate.
Delighted you could come back on, mate. Pleasure. And Zara-Mayy Rose comes back as well. Zara, how are you doing? All right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me back on.
No, listen, a pleasure as always. Okay then, listen, we've had a couple of days to digest this one. It was quite the game, one for the old ticker for you two, certainly. I'll start with you then, Tom, because I don't want to, as I said to you before we came on, we seem to start all these podcasts talking about selection, and I think, everyone's probably bored to the back teeth talking selection. Everyone's talking about it. Gary Neville's talking about it. Alan Shearer's talking about it. They're all talking about it. So just a bit of a different slant, in terms of the overall feeling at the minute. Are England riding the luck?
Oh, yeah, 100%, mate. Yeah, I was chatting to some fellas at work today, and I was saying, I'm going on the podcast tonight, and I don't know what I'm going to say where I'm not basically just repeating myself from the last kind of, 3 games I've been on here, because it's just very much same old, isn't it? It's a difficult one for England fans because we're obviously in the quarterfinals, so I think we're all having to rein it in slightly because, we're still in the competition, quarterfinals, against the Swiss on Saturday, but oh, God, yeah, it was another poor showing on Saturday, and I think, mate, to say we're riding our luck, I think that's putting it. You're being polite there. We were so lucky on Saturday, to get through to the next round. So, like I said, it feels very odd being an England fan right now because I think the vast majority of us are incredibly frustrated. But like I said, we're still in the competition and, through to the quarterfinals. So, yeah, very, very odd.
Zara, is this something that can continue? Can you see England sort of lucking it all the way to the final, or does something have to change getting to Saturday's game? Because we've seen the level of opposition. The Swiss have knocked out the Italians. They're no mugs.
Yeah, I tell you, the thing is, I think we're all in still a bit of shock from what actually happened. Could we ride our luck until the finals? Probably not. I don't think so. I think Southgate was extremely lucky, because it was like the 94th minute or something like that we scored. Unbelievable. I don't think we could ever ride that again. But yeah, no, I really hope that we're in the quarterfinals now. We need to take it a bit more seriously. Southgate does need to do some changes. As Tom said, we're probably just going to repeat ourselves as last time because he's not really changed much and it shows. So, but yeah, no, we were definitely very lucky.
I think there's going to be changes through force, but we'll come on to them a bit later on. Tom, if we can actually just pinpoint the game, let's talk about the start. England had a little warning sign, I think 3 or 4 minutes in. A shot fizzes past Pickford's post, and then 20 odd minutes in, the goal comes. Uncharacteristically, you have to say, Gay gets caught underneath it. Player then gets goal side, and there was only sort of one way it was going to end. You look into what's come out thereafter. Gay apparently twisted shoulder, been taking injections before the game. He's done 120 minutes. What do you make of all that?
Yeah, it was, like you said, the goal the goal of Slovakian scored. It was, the one kind of positive, I guess, from our performances so far in the competition has been the defence in terms of how, solid they've been. They have really limited the opposition to very few chances. Pickford hasn't had many saves to make, has he? But they did definitely look a bit shaky, didn't they, against Slovakia? And before they scored the goal, it had been coming. I felt Slovakia started the game really positively, on the front foot, which was a surprise because I really did expect them to kind of approach the game as everyone else has, prior, and sitting back and just trying to frustrate us and make things difficult. But they went at us. They pressed quite high up the pitch, and they caused us problems. Like you said, they had a good chance just before they opened the scoring. uncharacteristic mistake from Gay, who's been our player of the tournament so far, in my opinion. And they had us rattled. They really had us rattled. And look, I've been saying this ever since the game finished. Slovakia will look back at that game, and I will think they will see that as a really, really big missed opportunity, because I just felt the game was there for them to take. After they scored again, they came at us a little bit, but then there was almost like a moment where they felt, we're going to sit back a little bit here and try and hold on to this. And I honestly believe that if they would have taken the game to us, carried on in a similar vein to how they started the game, they would have won that match. I genuinely believe they would have won that match. They were incredibly close to doing so. But yeah, I just think massive missed opportunity by them, because we were there for the taking. We were absolutely, it was as bad. It was, like I said, it was just a carbon copy of all the games before, and there was no improvement whatsoever. Maybe a little bit later on in the game when he was throwing players on, chasing it. But like Zara said, 95th minute equaliser, just a moment of magic, but it came from some proper Tony Pulis tactics, big throw into the box, central defenders in there, trying to flick it on, throwing everyone in there. It's just, it's not good enough, man. It really isn't. It's not good enough.
Zara, I'll come on to you just in terms of the first half. Probably the best bit of play was, Foden's offside goal. And it's probably, we've been speaking about this in previous pods, about moving it quick and shifting your opponent around. Rightly so that the goal gets chopped off. Later on in the game, Declan Rice hits the post as well. Chances were coming, but as we go back to riding luck, Slovakia could have went 2-0 up with that sort of strange free kick that happened later on in the second half. So, you were speaking quite vocally before the game about ripping it up and getting some fresh faces in there. He didn't do that. And as Tom says there, we get the same results.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. I think it's no secret that I do not want that starting 11 that Southgate has put forward. I think that he did the right thing in bringing Mainu in, alongside Rice. That was probably the right thing to do. But I just feel like it is the same old play, like Tom's saying, like it is just the same thing every game, like the same boring play. Obviously, we did have our chances, Foden's offside goal, but again, it was unnecessary. He didn't need to be offside. He made that run way too early, for one. And yeah, I think a lot comes from the play was just slowing down so much as well. And, a part of that I noticed was because of Trippier, because obviously, again, he's playing left back. He can't really open his body up, so he's then passing back, and it's slowing down play quite a lot. And, if we had Gordon's taking that. I don't talk about Gordon a lot. I love Gordon. I do think Gordon should be starting, but it's all about the fact that we cannot get that ball through quick enough. We need to be playing with high pace and stuff. And, like Tom said, it was there for the taking for them. Slovakia could have easily had it because we just wasn't playing up to the highest standard that we could have.
Tom, you mentioned the Slovakians, and I kind of feel like, obviously, we'll talk about the goal. It's spectacular, the finish. There's no getting away from that. I do think Ivan Toney coming on, he frees up the defender by taking him into that position, and the space is there for Bellingham. Toney will come on in a moment, but I just wanted to touch on the Slovakians. I kind of felt like, just looking at the supporters, it was a sucker punch. They were almost there, and then that goal gets in, and obviously to get the early one, England get the early one in extra time. It just really was a hammer blow for them, wasn't it, mentally?
Yeah, it was, and obviously, I'm over the moon that we managed to get through to the next round. But there was a part of me that felt sorry for them, because I felt they deserved to win that game. We like you guys have just been discussing, we created very little. We found it incredibly difficult once again to break them down and create genuine chances, quality. And it's just come down to, a moment of magic from Bellingham, pretty much the last kick of the game. And I kind of knew once that had gone in and it was going into extra time, I did feel then that they're going to be majorly deflated, aren't they, after that? All the effort they've put in, so close to going through. I think it was going to be the first time that they got through to that round in the competition. And I just felt, that's a big blow for them. And I did feel confident then that we'd go into extra time and we'd maybe get a goal and get through to the next round. But yeah, I did feel sorry for them. They deserve more. But like I said a bit earlier on, I do feel like they took their foot off the gas a little bit and got a little bit deeper. And even though we weren't threatening them, they should have just took the game to us. We were playing so poorly and creating very little. I just feel if they would have gone after us, they would have created some chances, And if they would have scored, you talked about that chance where he hit the shot from around the halfway line, that kind of miscommunication. If that had gone in, game over. There was no way we were scoring two goals in that match. I talked about a goal, but I was watching the game. I was saying we could play for another 3 hours here. We ain't scoring a goal. It was that poor. But yeah, Bellingham bailed him out, didn't he? Big time.
Okay, then let's play devil's advocate, Zara, because we've spoke at length about changes that he should make. You're looking at the game, you're thinking Kane could probably come off, Bellingham could probably come off, probably 15 minutes before the goal because they were offering very, very little. Then the moment happens, and you're kind of sort of having to sort of applaud Gareth somewhat for keeping faith with the guys that he's trusted so far.
Yeah, that shut me up, didn't it? Well, to be fair, they were, like you said, they was offering very little for most of the game, and at half time, Gareth, he should have been making those subs, and it shocked me when he didn't make any at all. He didn't think to change up the game at all. We were 1-0 down, and why not just throw everything at it? I don't. Again, I'm just not understanding. I think a lot of us just aren't understanding where he's coming from or what he's trying to achieve here, which is why I think this is all down to luck. And like you said, Bellingham, I can never say his name. Bellingham did save him 100% with that goal. He saved him with it. But yeah, Kane's goal again. That was with the impact of Tony, a sub. So why he's not thinking of bringing these subs on earlier, I don't know.
Tom, just on the celebration, it's grabbed the majority of the headlines. UEFA have launched an investigation into it. I won't do the gesture because I probably won't do it justice on camera here in my bedroom. But we all know the one. And he sort of said he was. I think initially the press had sort of pushed it as it was a gesture to the Slovakian bench. Then someone else had said it was a gesture to the Slovakian fans. Bellingham himself says it was a gesture to friends, an in-joke. What do you make of it?
Yeah, there's not a chance that was a gesture to mates. I think Bellingham.
His brother's in that crowd.
Yeah, he was fired up. Look, I understand. He was, that goal went in. He was pumped up, wasn't he? You could just see it. The adrenaline was absolutely, pumping through his veins. And I just think, the moment, the celebration with Kane, the pylon, and then afterwards, I don't know. I think that Bellingham's got to be a bit careful. He has got to be a bit careful. I was really disappointed with his interview after the game as well. I just feel, because I don't know if you saw the interview after the game, but he was almost trying to make out that, that performance, it showed us, it showed the fans that have been moaning, it showed the press that's been moaning that, we can do it and we are good enough. I think he even said something like, we've thrown it back at him. And I was thinking, hold on a minute. Like, what are you going on about? Like, that was just another horrific performance. You were seconds away from getting dumped out the competition by the 45th best team. Did my research. They were ranked 45th in the world at the time we were playing them. Seconds away. Really mediocre performance again, really lackluster. And you managed to scrape through by the skin of your teeth. And, you're sitting here trying to say, we're out of order, point proven, we are good enough. And I was like, I'm a big Jude Bellingham fan. He's absolutely brilliant.
Does sound like it.
And his goal, man, his goal was unbelievable. His goal was world class, but he's got to just calm down a little bit. I think that's the point I'm making. I think, that jest, most definitely that was towards the Slovakians. They've been giving him stick and, they completely marked him out the game. He was completely ineffective for 94 minutes prior to that overhead kick. And, I get it. He was pumped up. He was fired up. He's just kind of saved us. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, because I don't think they're going to believe that was some sort of joke between him and his mates. I can understand why he's quickly tweeted that afterwards to try and bail himself out. But yeah, I don't think he's going to fool anyone with that.
I'm more concerned about the fact that he was shouting "Vamos" to the England fans 3 times during this game to G them up. I think he forgot where he was. I want to inquire into that more than the gesture, to be honest. Zara, I'll come on to you, because Bellingham seems to be the one. Sort of, he's taken on the mantle, so he's the one that's coming out and presses, as Tom said there. He did certainly say that it was great to have something to sort of throw back to some people. He said that the England fans have a tendency to pile on. Was his use of phraseology. He then went on to post a Theodore Roosevelt quote on his Instagram, which is quite lengthy. I'm not going to read it out, but the guts of it basically is just about the man in the arena. He seems to love that, that when he scores the goal, he's giving it the who else as well. That seems to be, since going to Madrid and given this sort of big number 5 Zidane stuff, that he's taken that into his game.
Yeah, I think as England fans, we are kind of to blame for this as well, because he's obviously a fantastic player, especially for his age, and we obviously celebrated him and we've given him so much praise, and he's like the golden boy of England, and, and he's young, so he will take that straight to his head. But the great thing about him is he has got this amazing mentality, and so when he can score goals like that, he still believes in like the 94th minute, when Southgate's still messing around with substitutions and stuff like that. He still believes that we can win it, even when we think we can't. He still believes it, and that sort of mentality is where it leads to those goals. It leads to goals like that, and I'm grateful for him. I think we all are. I think we all love Jude, but yeah, I think it's definitely going to his head in a sense, but I think that's just going to happen. It's inevitable with young players like that who get so much praise, and it will go to their head. But he might get humbled one day. I don't know.
Not anytime soon, I don't think.
Not anytime soon, but
I think it's good. It's good, isn't it? Because I think it's nice to see an England player especially, have a bit of that arrogance. Because, like you said, you don't see many England players kind of having that. It's almost like, a bit of like that Ronaldo kind of arrogance. And, I'm all for it. I definitely am. But I always think it's a very fine line between like getting it right and then just taking it a little bit too far, and then the fans start getting on your back. And I just think that's the point I was just making, is that I just think, I'm all full of celebration and all that, but just calm it down a little bit, because, if we'd been steamrolling teams and he's been integral to it, then yeah, he can sit there and say stuff like that and say, why are we getting stick? We've just done this to them. But he's been pretty much non-existent the last 3 matches, and it was just that overhead kick, as much as it was a moment of brilliance, fantastic finish. Again, he was just, non-existent in the game up to then. Another terrible performance from him. So, he's just got to watch it a little bit, I think.
Just a quick yes or no from you both, if you can. Should England go to do the unthinkable, lift the trophy, will that moment go down, in history, a la Gaza, Euro 96? Yeah,
you can go first.
Oh, good.
Silence is deafening, guys.
I don't think we deserve to at this point. I don't think we deserve, as much as I'd love it, I don't think we deserve to.
It's a no from Zara.
Yeah, it's a no from me.
I just, it was, like you said, what I'm hoping for now is really this, it's an opportunity, 100%. It's an opportunity to now almost like, I don't know, kind of push the reset button. He scored that goal, fantastic moment. All the England fans going absolutely nuts. Went into extra time. Kane got the goal. Our talisman up front, scores all the goals. He got the winner. We've got through. The hope is now amongst the England fans is that, like, press the reset button. Let's kind of regroup. Southgate, have a think about who you're starting, who hasn't been playing well, who needs to be brought into this system. and let's go for it against the Swiss. Like, let's forget about what's happened prior to now. And let's, but this is the worry, mate. This is the worry. And and Southgate, how he was talking after the game, is like he was almost talking as though, like, I got it right. I got it right. Like, my decision making and my team and everything has got us through to the next round. And it's like, no, like, it didn't. Like, you've been so lucky to get through to the next round. And this is the thing, he'll go and pick exactly the same players, mate, in the next game against the Swiss. I'm almost certain of it. I know Gay can't play because he's got the yellow and he's suspended, but it'll just be like for like, replacement there, someone like Dunk or Konsa, someone like that. The issues are up top, the out wide and up front. And I will make a bet with you now that he will not make a change to any of those players. He will pick the same guys, and we'll go into that game against the Swiss and start that game against the Swiss exactly like we have every other game. I'm trying to think what I can put on it. But
responsibly, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, Zara-Mayy, I'll come to you then, because Tom says about pressing the reset. There's going to have to be some sort of reset, because he's touched on there. Gay's suspended. He's out. Looks like there is still an issue at left back. We saw Saka in there for large parts. I think Eze was in there at one point as well. So that's going to be something he's going to need to throw some attention to. Luke Shaw seems to be given it's almost like he's flirting with England fans. 1 minute he's in, 1 minute he's out. But as Tom mentions, and you've mentioned numerous times, it's the forward areas. Cole Palmer again comes on, and I thought he'd done really, really well. It's maybe time to give him that start.
Yeah, and again, Palmer only came on because Trippier got injured, so it was a full sub by Southgate, and that's what really irritated me, was because he wasn't. It makes you think, if Trippier hadn't got injured, would he have really left the subs till like the last 5 minutes or last 10 minutes, however long, and why? But the effect that Palmer had when he came on, he's impactful. Mainu, I know he started Mainu, but he's proven to make an impact when he's subbed on, which was Southgate's reason for starting him, which again blows my mind, because the same could be said for Cole Palmer. So why isn't he starting him? As for, it's a shame about Gay not being in for the Switzerland game, especially because of how well he's been playing. He reads the game really well. It's going to be really hard to replace him. I think probably Konsa should be the one to replace him, but with Southgate, you never know who he's going to pick. So, yeah, we'll just have to see for that one.
I do think, Tom, it's going to be Konsa that's come in. He comes on in that game there. He said that he's ready to start. You mentioned Lewis Dunk. I don't think he's realistically anywhere near it. Then I just to come back onto the subs if we can, because Ivan Toney. Gareth Southgate said, well, he had the hump when I brought him on. You're bringing me on with a minute to go and we're going to be knocked out this tournament. You haven't used me for the last 3 games. Why are you using me now, kind of thing? But as you say, Tony Pulis-esque or not, it worked.
Yeah, but it was just... Mate, I'll tell you, when I saw Tony being brought on, when he was being brought on, I was in disbelief. I was like, why is he bringing him on now at this moment in time? I was actually shouting. I was saying, if anything, this is wasting time that we didn't have available to us. He was stopping the clock to make a substitution. And, this, again, it just shows you how, I don't want to hammer Southgate, but I am. It just shows you how inept he is, because that Tony substitution should have been made, at least 20 minutes before it was. We scored the goal. He didn't really do anything, he came on and we scored the equaliser. But in extra time, he showed his worth, didn't he? In extra time, in holding the ball up, playing the long balls, holding it up, bringing others into play. Just being a real nuisance, giving the Slovakian centre-backs a different kind of problem that, they'd encountered, they hadn't encountered, with Kane. And, yeah, I thought he was fantastic.
Let me just read out these stats here, because he played 30 minutes. He won 4 out of 5 ground duels, 4 out of 5 aerial duels, created 1 big chance. Obviously has the assist and won 3 fouls. Arguably done more than Harry Kane's done all tournament.
100%, 100%. You know, and this is the thing. He won't start. He won't start in the next game. There's no point even discussing whether he should get a start or not, because it won't happen. Kane will start. But yeah, I was completely dumbfounded by him making that substitution when he did. That should have come a lot earlier. And again, it's you know, it's another case of the fan base being right. You know, the fan base and the pundits being right once again, and Southgate being wrong. You know, people have been calling out for Tony and Watkins to be getting more minutes because Kane's been underperforming. And when Watkins and Tony have come on in the very brief time that they've had on the pitch, they've been incredibly effective. Like you said, the pair of them have done more in their time on the pitch than Kane has the whole tournament. You know, but again, like I said, it's just the fans have been right once again, and Southgate's got it wrong. But you know, next game, I guarantee it. You know, he'll go with Kane, and he will. You know, he will keep him on for as long as possible before making any sort of changes. Because again, you know, I'm going to revert back to something I said right at the start of the tournament. In that Southgate, I told you, didn't I? He hasn't got the bottle to drop the big players. He hasn't got the bottle to drop Kane. He hasn't got the bottle to drop Foden. You know, regardless of how they're performing, he just hasn't got the bottle to do it. And you know, and that's you know, this case proven once again.
Okay then, Zara-Mayy, just part of what Tom said slightly, okay? Let's just say he does make the changes. Super Trooper saying there that England could do with switching to a 4-4-2 and letting Kane play off the flick-ons from Tony. You know, is it just too late to start experimenting like that now?
Yeah, I think maybe not too late, but he definitely should have been doing that in the group stages at least, just while he had that chance, because now we are in the knockout stages. You know, we're in the big boy stages now, so we needed to have figured that out in the group stages. But here we are, and you know, I just referring back to that comment. Tony and Kane do link up well, but again, like you said, Kane shouldn't be starting. He has had a poor performance, and it should be based on performance. It shouldn't be based on his favourites or like the big names or whatever. It needs to be based on performance. You could even have Tony and Watkins up front, because Watkins makes those run-ins behind. He's got pace. Why not play them two off each other?
Let me just say this as well. How easy must it be being the opposition manager preparing to play against England? You know who the team is going to be. You know what the formation is going to be. You know how they're going to play. You know, like that comment says, why don't you just mix it up against the Swiss on Saturday? You know, they won't be expecting it. They won't be expecting it. Like you said, go 4-4-2, try something different, go two up top, change the personnel, just spring a surprise, you know. But it must be so. Opposition coaches must love playing against England at this moment in time, because you just know he's going to go with the same formation, the same personnel. They're going to play the same football on the pitch. There's no surprises. So, you know, that it's perfect for him. And it'll happen against the Swiss on Saturday, I'm sure of it.
You're on fire, mate. We're going to have trouble keeping you.
Mate, honestly, I've been yeah.
On my door tonight, I'm telling you. Right, okay. I think it's really important that we mention Kobbie Mainoo, because I actually believe he was robbed of the Man of the Match award. I know Bellingham scores a goal, but I thought Kobbie Mainoo was probably the most positive player in England jersey, trying to play forward, trying to make things happen, Zara. He, as you mentioned before, probably the right change. That jersey's his now, surely.
Yeah, see, he was doing the most. He was driving the ball forward. He's not afraid to get into space. He's not afraid to attack, you know. And I just think, again, it's because of these big names. You've got Jude like scoring that unbelievable goal, which fair enough, it did keep us in the game, but it's completely taken away from the fact that Mainoo had an amazing performance again. And it's unfair. It's completely unfair.
Tom, we've spoke and we sort of before Mainoo's come in and sort of made it his own, but Adam Watson, you know, and the fact that England do have these options. But yeah, Kobbie Mainoo's probably been the other shining light alongside Matt Gay.
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, look, I've been hammering Southgate for the last few podcasts, but yeah, he made the right decision there. In he obviously went with Trent at the start. That didn't work. Then he gave the nod to Gallagher to replace him. And then, to be fair to him, he realised quite soon that Gallagher wasn't, the one to slot in alongside Rice. And yeah, since Mainoo's come in, he's been fantastic. He's been what we've been lacking in the middle of the park. And it's just, it's just it's just youth, isn't it? With they're fearless almost, and he's always looking to pass the ball forward, which is just, the rest of the England players just seem like, allergic to passing the ball forward. He's the only one who seems to try every opportunity to try and move that ball forward through the lines. And yeah, he was the best England player on the pitch for sure. And because he came off, and I was surprised he was one of the players that was replaced, because he
looked surprised.
I think the yellow card played a part, didn't it? Because he was on a yellow card really early on, and I can maybe see why Southgate brought him off to hopefully avoid him getting a second yellow and missing out. But yeah, that position is his. I'll be absolutely astonished if he doesn't start in the next game, because he was definitely England's man of the match in that last game.
Okay, then Saturday it's the Swiss. It's quarter-final time in Dusselfdorf. A different kind of proposition, Zara-Mayy. I feel like from the teams that I've watched, Switzerland are probably one of the most well-organised sides in the tournament. They've got a really solid base. Emmanuel Noel and Schär at centre-half alongside Akanji, with Granit Xhaka just playing in front of them, and he's probably been one of the players of the tournament, you'd have to say. Every side England have played up until now have been playing maybe in third gear. The Swiss won't do that come the weekend.
Yeah, so Schär is absolutely class. I think we're going to really struggle against them unless we do make some changes. Like Tom said, it's got to be the easiest job in the world going against England at the minute, because it's so predictable. They know what formation we're going to play, what tactics we're going to play. And knowing Southgate, he's probably think he's pulled an absolute masterclass because of last game. So he's probably going to go with the same thing now. But yeah, no, I do think we're going to have to change things up, because they've looked fantastic as well. They press. They're going to cause us a lot of problems. Again, we haven't got Gay, so. And our left side is completely unbalanced as well. So we've got a lot of weaknesses that we need to work on for next game.
You have to say, putting the Italians to the sword is no easy feat, especially in the manner in which they do so. It wasn't a smash and grab. They controlled that game from start to finish. Tom, the Swiss, as we say, they're going to know how England are going to line up. You listen to Gareth Southgate, he sort of put that 66 spin on it and said, how players came in later on in the tournament. And I think it did point to the fact that he's not going to make wholesale changes come this one. So what are England going to have to do to counteract the Swiss? Because they're very much on the front foot. They get a lot of the ball as well. As I say, they're not smash and grab. It's a proper football team.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with them. Like you said, they're just... You look at their starting 11. There's no superstars in there, but they're all solid, top level players, and
they know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing. I tell you what, Xhaka, I didn't see much of him last season at Leverkusen, but he just seems transformed. He seems like he is one of the best midfielders, in that position at this moment in time. He looks absolutely class, and yeah, he's just going to have a field day. If we put in a similar performance to what we have so far, it's going to be too easy for him pulling the strings in the middle of the park. But you just talked about the defense. I've been really impressed with Akanji as well. Man City signing him, he I didn't know who he was before Man City brought him in, and obviously he was a regular last season for him, but watching him for the Swiss as well, he's been superb at the back. So yeah, they're just a really solid, well-organised, well-coached team who, like you said, last game easily disposed of the Italians. And yeah, they are not going to fear England one bit whatsoever. And the only way I feel that we're going to be able to pose a threat and give them a good game is if changes are made. I genuinely believe that. I just, if we're to go into the game, same team, same lineup, we're going to struggle. Undoubtedly, there's got to be changes. And look, us talking about it, we're not the only ones. All the guys in the studio after the games, they're all in agreement. Ian Wright, Gary Neville, everyone's screaming and shouting for the same thing. Changes need to be made, but I just can't understand why it's not happening. I genuinely can't. It's becoming incredibly baffling as to why Southgate can't see it and his coaching staff. And it's not just Southgate as well. I know he's the guy calling the shots. He sits at the top of the tree, but he's got a team of about blooming 10 coaches around him, hasn't he, on that bench?
Floyd Hasselbank needs to step up and do something.
Yeah, why aren't they saying something to him like, Gareth, mate, come on, like, what are you doing? You got to make some changes, lad. So yeah, we'll see.
Just on a Kanji, just check there. 15 million quid he cost Man City. What a steal that is.
I know.
Absolutely
Unbelievable.
Right. Okay, then, but we'll draw a line under it. I'll get a quick prediction before we go, but I just want to touch on the other quarterfinals because there's some gargantuan ties. Spain versus Germany on Friday night. Portugal v France. You've got the Dutch are going to play, obviously, the winner of Austria and Turkey. That's who England would play if they go through. I don't know if he's managed to catch the game before we came on. The Dutch actually played probably the best football they've played of the tournament. But every tie is just got something written in it. I'll come to you, Zara, on that. Sorry, I should have said something first.
I've only managed to catch. I didn't catch any games today, but I've watched Spain the other day. Spain are scary. Spain are very, very scary at the minute. I would hate to think our England side going against them at the minute. They've got like the best midfield I've seen in this tournament. They've been unreal. And again, Switzerland, same thing. Like Italy's, they just caught them slacking completely, and Italy got punished for it. So that's going to happen to us if we don't fix up on things. So and France. I'm pretty sure France has been getting pretty lucky recently. So if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, it's an own goal. Yeah, wasn't it an own goal? Yeah. So I mean, who would we be against next if it was
Austria or the Dutch or Turkey? Whoever's going to win from that game tonight will play the Dutch, and then they would play England or the Swiss in the semi. Right.
Yeah. See. And they're playing tonight.
They're playing right now. Yeah, I don't know what the score is.
Okay. Yeah. No. Well, we'll have to see.
Tom, do you think there'll be any more tears from Ronaldo? That was quite a pantomime last night, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a bit surreal and odd, wasn't it? To be fair, look, I think so. Like, I've always been more Team Messi than Ronaldo, but there's no doubting that Ronaldo's one of the best players of all time, and I just think he was just trying too hard, wasn't he, last night? He wanted to take every free kick. He was just desperate, and then I knew that I had a feeling that he was going to miss that pen, because of everything that played out prior to them, missing that penalty. But I think the thing is, it shows you still. The guy's 39 or whatever he is. It still shows you how much. I know people have been ridiculing him and taking the mickey, but not for me. It just shows you still how much it means to him. He's won everything there is to win, and he's still getting that passionate and upset and riled up, about the fact that, he was obviously worrying that he blew their chance, and they were going to go out. And, to then step up, take Portugal's first penalty, shows incredible bowl. And they've obviously gone through on penalties, but again, they probably weren't at their best, but they're still a top team, Portugal. I wouldn't want to come up against them either. They've got some fantastic players within their ranks, and this is it now. I don't want to sound too harsh, but we're getting into the nitty gritty of the tournament, and all that's left are the big boys. The quality teams that will punish you if you're not at your best. It's as simple as that. So, this again, England have simply got to improve. Like you said right at the very start, mate, are England going to fluke their way all the way through this and win it? They won't. They won't, because you look at some of the teams, the Germans, Spain, Portugal, Holland look like they've improved, after today's performance. Austria have been, superb. All that's left are the good teams, mate, who've actually been playing some good football on the pitch. So yeah, it's big improvements needed from England if they've got any, chance of winning this.
I didn't think a goalkeeper was going to steal my heart, much like Mamadashvili, the Georgian, but the Portugal keeper last night was incredible, I have to say, Diogo Costa. Okay then, just quickly then, because conscious of time, we'll try and get off and catch the second half of what's left of Austria-Turkey. Prediction for Saturday, Zara-Mayy, how do you see it going, England-Switzerland?
I have to back England, so I'll say another 2-1. Hopefully he won't leave the subs as late next time, but we'll see.
And Tom, final word to you. Prediction for Saturday?
It's again, mate. I'm just repeating myself, but I got to see that team sheet. If it's the same team, same formation, same approach, then I think the Swiss will see us off, mate. I honestly do. But if Southgate surprises us and he makes some positive changes, then we're capable of giving the Swiss a game and getting through to the next round. But there's just simply has to be changes made for that next match. Okay.
We'll see you on the other side of that. We are back on Thursday night for just a brief chat about our predictions. We put some predictions in before the tournament started, and hopefully I should go through tonight so I can sit like a Cheshire cat come Thursday night about my dark horses. But we shall see. If you're watching on catch up, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Leave a comment. Tell us what we're doing good. Tell us what we're not doing so good. Follow us on X. Follow us on TikTok. There's loads and loads to get through. But Zara-Mayy, thanks for tonight. Tom, thanks for tonight. And we'll see you again. Thank you.